Okay. 6:25, week 6. Today I woke up, went on a pseudo run, and I say pseudo because my goal wasn't to travel places or like try. I just want to make sure I ran. Plus my hamstrings were surprisingly sore from all that standing and sitting we did pin setting, so that played a lot into it too. But yeah, did that, did quiet time, had breakfast, which was pizza, because we got leftover pizza from the young adults thing, and then the activity began. The plan was to go to Sacramento to do a scavenger hunt on scooters, but once we got to Sacramento and we got on scooters, we realized the scooters are great. So we decided to postpone the scavenger hunt and just ride on scooters around Sacramento, and that was a big fun. I think Noah and potentially others thought it was the funnest day so far. So, everyone had a blast with that. Then we got smoothies at the Jamba Juice again, but this time we used a digital D4 to see who got which smoothie. So we all picked a smoothie, then roll a D4 to see who got it. And I say a D4 instead of D5, now that exists, because Noah took a hit for the team and drank the smoothie that Joe picked because he didn't actually want that. So yay, go Noah. But yeah, I got the smoothie I picked, so it worked out. And yep. Anyway, we did that. It was great. And then we decided it would probably best to skip scavenger hunt and just head home. Also, at some point, we went on a Ferris wheel, but that's not important, so I'll give it no more screen time. Once we got back, I helped Karina make dinner, which involved the very laborious task of taking the meat off lamb chops, which is 100% my bad, as I ordered said lamb chops when I should have ordered lamb. But how am I supposed to know the difference between lamb and lamb chops? So, I suppose I paid for my sins, but especially with my thumb recovering, it was just the worst. Though, on that topic, my thumb was feeling a lot better. I can move it around now and almost have full range of motion, and it only hurts sometimes and when I touch certain places, so yay! But yeah, once dinner was done, we ate it, and it was pretty great. Gyros are pretty tasty. Then me and Caleb, since we hadn't done it in a while, decided to play some table tennis, and that was fun. We worked together to see how many consecutive bounces we could get using just the handle of our ping pong paddles and switching off between us every 5 hits. And we managed to get 70 at one point, so I think we did pretty well, though surprisingly hard, I must say. And then we just kind of messed around a bit before going in. Finally, to round out the day, we watched another anime movie, which is pretty great, though not quite Silent Voice level great. But yeah, well worth a watch. And I've been trying not to do a movie every night trend, but we didn't really have time to drive or do anything because tomorrow's early in church, so I think we're justified watching a movie that night. And yeah, that was the day. All right, 2 days to cover. Here we go. We had to wake up early because Calvary Chapel changed the church service to be outside, and since it's hot, they adjusted the time of the service to be early in the morning so we all don't die. And that was decent. Kind of cool to do a service outside, but not nearly as good as Southgate's Horsetooth Ridge service. They did that one morning. But yeah, good change of pace, and I think everyone else liked it quite a bit, and they knew the songs that had been played instead of just random hymns, so that was nice. Once we got back, I read some Paul and the Gift, and then developed a new version of Magic with Noah and Joe. I think it's pretty cool, but Joe didn't like it in the end, and Noah was like, so. That actually took a while, and we were just starting to play test it, and we had to leave for dinner. Now, we've been doing really good financially so far, so we decided to eat at this Mexican place, and it was really good. Good food, for sure. Once we got back, Noah, Joe, and I all played an entire game of Magic the Conquest, the new version we just made, and it was pretty great, at least according to my opinion. And then finally that night we went stargazing, and it was good. I really like stargazing. Yesterday was a Monday, so standard quiet time and gym, though my thumb still isn't healed, so unfortunately I can't lift weights at the gym, which is a big sad. Thus, instead, I decided to use the time to stretch, which is mostly, 90% useless, 94% useless, but oh well. We did that. We did watercolor painting, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit. I drew a scene that I wanted, and then watercolored it in, and then I made the whole thing, kind of okay. It was a pretty good experience. I then read some Paul and the Gift, and I think we left for volleyball, which was bueno. However, there were a lot of people at volleyball, hence less playtime, which was sad. And my thumb still hurt, so I had to play one-handed, which was also sad, but still a good experience overall. Once we got back, I just went to bed, and that's all I have to say about that. The next entry has 3 days to cover, so here goes nothing. Tuesday was the dawn of the quintessential girls' slumber party, which I wasn't super excited for, but Joe was stoked. The day started off normal, with some quiet time and then a run. Noah just keeps on getting faster, and I'm at least 10% determined not to let him beat me. See, I tell myself, there's lots of people faster than me. And if he's faster than me, he's faster than me, no big deal. But, I actually am so terrified the day he overtakes me. Anyway. But I'm still a solid 3 minutes faster. So, I don't have to worry about that for now. What can I say? Even in Alex 2.0, the competitive spirit lives on in me. Anyway, it was a really good run. We kind of just killed time for a bit. I think I read a book as Karina prepared. And then sometime in the evening or afternoon, Karina said she was ready and we began the experience. The first thing we did is have our feet soaked for 30 minutes, and there was a bath bomb and flowers. And it was honestly my favorite part, because it felt genuinely nice, and we just sat in a circle and talked and ate snacks. And it was great. However, then came time for the facial, and I committed. Using just about all the quote-unquote purifying stuff that I could fit from the packet on my face. However, I must have left it for way too long, or maybe I'm allergic or something, because that definitely started to burn. And when I washed it off, it looked like my face had been severely sunburnt for wherever I put it on. And I kind of felt like that too. So yeah, not the most lovely experience. But I full sent it, and, I tried, and I've gotten this far, so what can I say? So yeah, it was not my favorite, but at least the second part of the facial didn't burn as much, so that wasn't as an unpleasant experience. And after waiting 10 minutes for the whatever second part of the facial to do whatever it's supposed to do, we all washed it off and promptly concluded that our faces felt about the same. Mine felt significantly worse than it did before, though. I thus deem facials the worst, at least for me. After that, the guys were tasked with trying to give Karina a good job of makeup. I took on the lipstick because it was basically the only item in the pile that I knew what it was and where it was supposed to go. However, I did very poor at applying said lipstick, and Caleb basically redid everything and made it significantly better. Thus, having done my duty, I kind of just watched as mostly Joe and Caleb tried to fine-tune Karina's makeup, which most of the time I couldn't tell the difference. But apparently it was quite obvious to them and Karina, so good on them. But yeah, it was a lot of sitting in the corner for me, and the other guys had fun, so I'm glad it happened. Also, for all you females who go through the whole process of putting on makeup every fancy occasion, I am now partially sorry for your existence, and I understand your plight more. You have a rough life. After that, we got our nails painted, which was kind of interesting. Weird to realize that was the first time I'd ever done that. Never done that before in my life. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't all that bad. Karina did draw a little Spartan helmet on my thumb, which I greatly appreciate, and made me like my nails, at least that nail in particular, significantly better. And it's probably the sole reason the whole experience isn't categorized as a bad one in my mind. At some point, we had dinner, and I think there was quinoa stuff. Not entirely sure, but it was decent. And I forgot to mention, the whole time after the foot soak, we were all wearing really girly socks, and that was interesting. Notably, they were very slippery. Let's see. Other than that, we watched what were meant to be chick flicks, which consist of Little Women, which is really a good slice of life, honestly, but nothing else. And While You Were Sleeping, which apparently I've watched a part of before. I assume mom and dad were watching it, and I watched it in the living room, but I hadn't seen all of it, and that's probably because I got bored because it was boring. And see, it was advertised as a romantic comedy, and I was kind of excited because after watching Love's War, and anime, I decided rom-coms can be pretty funny. But this show is just awkward and definitely not funny. I get secondhand embarrassment from shows like this so bad, so it was just kind of painful. Overall, pretty boring. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else. But, I guess I'm just weird. And yeah, that's how the day ended. Everyone else just stuck around the living room for the viewing of Frozen because Noah hadn't seen it. But yeah, we only kind of stayed awake. Overall, I have to say, going into it, there was definitely an aspect of curiosity to see what it was like on the other side of the gender curtain. But given the view what I was given was an accurate one, I think my side of the gender curtain is fine, thank you very much. The things females do for fun just aren't very interesting, at least from my distinctly male perspective. But yeah, good experience nonetheless. The next day was Wednesday, and plus a free day. I woke up and got a text from Sam, my cousin, asking if I would want to play him in a game of Polytopia. Basically, think of Risk meshed with Catan, which is a turn-based online game. So after eating breakfast and starting the day, I agreed, and Caleb did it with me. And we technically played 2 games, but early on my tribe killed Caleb's tribe in the first game, so we decided it'd be best to restart. As for the second game, though, it lasted 6 hours, and I spent 6 hours talking to Sam on a call and playing Polytopia, and it was great. It's a slog of a game, but I very, very slowly won. Caleb held out actually so well, though. He made conquering him a total pain. After that, I talked with John, and that was great. Missed that guy. I then went on a walk with Noah briefly, because I hadn't done anything active thus far in the day. And once we got back, I caught up with Neo, because talking with John reminded me I want to catch up with him too. And it was also great. I definitely look forward to, getting back and seeing everyone again. Oh, and John told me Jeremy moved away for real this time. So, that was a maximal sad. Definitely going to be sad not having him around. Finally, then, I tried to round out my free day by... Oh, I didn't try to. I succeeded. I watched an episode of the final season of Science Fell in Love, so I tried to prove it. But it got a bit sketchy, so I switched over to a different anime, namely Moriarty the Patriot, which is a Sherlock Holmes series, but it follows Moriarty instead of Sherlock. And so far, it's been really good. Very high-quality anime. So yeah, watched some of that and went to bed. As for today, today we were tasked with wearing outfits we bought for each other at the thrift store, which I didn't talk about, but I'm talking about now, so I'm not going back and changing it. And that was certainly an experience. I don't have a picture of the outfit I wore, but even if I did, I'm not sure I want to share it, because it's worth noting that it was interesting. I have this dope cat shirt wearing Galaxy Aviators, and I think it's great. And yeah, everyone wore their allotted outfits, and we drove to this Touch Animals place, which I found pretty darn boring, but everyone else found pretty interesting. And then we got ice cream, and we got stared at a lot, and we came back and went to young adults in their outfits, and it was kind of fun. I got to talk to people about smart atheist thoughts while I was there, because I was getting to remind people that the other side has good arguments too, because everyone's like, the atheists are super dumb. I'm like, well, but yeah, it was a good time. Oh, and one more thing need to be mentioned. See, in the previous Young Adults, someone said, oh, wow, and we all cracked up. So Chase, desiring to know what caused that reaction, this Young Adults asked what the phrase was, and Karina, being the devil maiden, divulged such information. It was then, after he knew the phrase, that we were talking about the plan to dance the next day, and how I wasn't going to be going, and Chase was like, well, hold up, Alex. There's a slight chance you meet some girl there, and you'll be like, oh, wow. And we all just died. I had to sit down. I was laughing so hard. I actually started crying. It was indescribably funny and both a terrible and beautiful moment. I think we were all just bent over laughing for like a solid 30 plus seconds, and everyone was just so confused. But for those that understood, it has been ingrained in our minds forever. And that's how this life of Demo needs to end. As for Friday, which was yesterday, we woke up and I went on a run while everyone else went to the gym. It was a good run. I did well. After that, we recorded a podcast episode, which I'll put in here if you want to listen to it. And yeah, I enjoyed the task quite a bit. I think it was cool to talk through things together in that setting, and I think we did a good job representing our thought process and opinions and stuff. Anyway, after that, we kind of just hung out until the time for dancing came. Caleb and I fought in Polytopia basically the whole time. I read some of the Paul and the Gift, but mostly didn't. And then once everyone else left for dancing, I went on a long walk and recited History of Philosophy from memory. Surprisingly, I did way better than I thought I did at remembering stuff, at least until the Stoics. I think I've actually got like the history of philosophy ingrained in my long-term memory, which is super exciting, because I definitely feared all that work would just go to waste. However, while I was reciting history of philosophy, I jumped across a gap in the river, and my backup charger fell in the river. And yep, if you ever listen to the recording of me reciting the history of philosophy for like a solid 5 minutes, they'll just me be like, well, there goes my charger in that recording. But yeah, overall, the recitation took about an hour and a half, a little longer, and it was good. Once I got back, I was pretty physically tired, and I felt like I'd done productive things, so I decided to play this VR puzzle game I've been looking at for quite a while, and I had a 30% off code, so that was cool. And I played that until everyone got back, and that was pretty fun. The game had more of a horror vibe than I anticipated, and mind you, the standard horror vibe is like the standard for horror vibe for me is super low. Plus, it's just like an ominous spacesuit guy where like appears in front of you. So anyway, so yeah, being alone at the house at night wasn't the best combo, but I played through it nonetheless. I got pretty far before my Oculus died, so after that, I decided to watch some anime as a recharge, and then I alternated between Oculus and anime depending on battery states. As I was nearing the end of the game, everyone got back from dancing, and it sounds like they had a really good time. So happy for them, and we all went to bed. And there you go.